We hurt people. I hurt people. So guys, the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. Y'all think that eventually Max is going to get in the Hurt Syndicate. I wonder how long Bobby Lashley enjoyed his car. Just took his keys and... So, this is what I think. I think eventually MJF is going to find his way into the Hurt Syndicate. So, being that he got 2 thumbs up so far from Shelton Benjamin and from MVP, it'll probably be, I don't know, maybe another interference, or maybe a group attacks, the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP comes to make the save. Or something like that is probably going to happen. I like the fact Shelton Benjamin told him, I didn't give you a thumbs up because of some broads in the watch. I gave you a thumbs up because of MVP. I respect that, man, because he shows he's not a sucker. He can't be bought and sold. So, MVP, I'm actually interested. I hope that they vote him in, because I'm interested to see where it goes from there, man, and what type of group they're going to be. And if it ends up being a great thing, man, I hope they don't, disband it too quickly, But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing with them, and hopefully he gets in. Hey, man, Josh Alexander is a guy who I always liked as a wrestler. In fact, if you guys remember, I created him. I created Camille. I actually had created Megan Bain, and I forgot what the hell happened. I think I created her again. I created these people before they even came to AEW. Speedball Mike Bailey is someone that I could have created. I really could have created him, and I still can. But Josh Alexander, I had him on there and everything. But yeah, I like the fact that they got Josh and Speedball. Those are 2 of the reasons that I was watching. 2 of the guys I was checking for on TNA Impact, and now they're both in AEW. And I like the fact that Josh Alexander's style. He's the only guy there with that style, like his type of pedigree, like, so he fits in well. I don't know if Brian Cage is injured, if he's still in AEW, or if they, I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen him for a little bit, but Josh Alexander is a great addition to that team. So, he should have, I think on his debut, he should have came out with more fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, his entrance, like when he came out, the crowd was, holy shit, like they was giving it up for him, and then, I don't know, man, he just did a simple walk to the ring, like, and it was like, come on, man, get fired up, like, come on. So, but anyways, they knew who he was, and anytime you get a holy shit moment, people know who you are. And, for sure, some months ago, people thought he was going to WWE because his contract was up, and the way he went out in TNA, I knew, like, yeah, he was one that his contract was up with Jordan Grace. There was a couple other people, but the way he went out, it was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's leaving. Now, where he was going, I don't know. And most people thought he was going to wind up going to the WWE. And people had already started making dream matches in their head and saying, like, him being there, it's like Kurt Angle is still there and whatever. It's like, okay, no, he's similar somewhat to Kurt Angle, somewhat. But at the same time, he's Kurt Angle, he's Josh Alexander. And we don't need a second coming of Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had his time. Now it's Josh's time. Simple. But I think that he's a great fit in with that. And the fact that he came to the Don Callis family. Now, him coming there and losing his first match, this is what people don't understand. They think that, and yeah, when you debut someone, yeah, I get it. The fact that anywhere someone should, you expect them to get a win. But it's like at the same time, Josh Alexander got the pin in the tag match on Dynamite with him and, who was it? Him and Konosuke Takeshita versus Brody King and Will Ospreay, and he got the pin on Brody King. So it's like certain wrestlers, their careers are like reinvented when they come to a different company. Some people, it's just a continuation. Now, for anybody that's looking at that, it's like, imagine Sting having his first WrestleMania and he loses. Imagine Ray Fink having his first WrestleMania and he loses, right? You don't have to imagine it. It happened. And it happens all across the board with different wrestlers, different situations. People might not even remember them. So the Motor City Machine Guns came out on the AEW programming one night to like no applause. And I'm wondering, do they even know who these guys are? And the Motor City Machine Guns became champions in WWE. People started, oh yeah, see, they got the belts. Yeah, and then they lost them really quickly. And they've been doing nothing but fighting the same exact guys for the past 6-7 months now. And, this is what I mean about when people come into a different organization. I think a lot of times people don't know, if they're not sure of what type of reaction they're going to get when they come out. And that might have been Josh Alexander's, reason for him being so, like, lackluster how he came out. But I will say that Josh Alexander, he's a solid guy, man. And I really thought, like, when I watched him, in the ring in TNA, and I watched him in the ring before that in Canada, when I watched him, in his 2 appearances at AEW, the people that's there, how they build him, how they push him, we'll have to see, because we could all start making dream matches in our heads about who's going to fight next and how the match is going to go and all of that. But I just feel like with a guy like him, it's a solid opportunity for him and for AEW to just have more great matches and great moments on their show. Jamie Hayter, she defeated Chris Statlander. Now, for Chris Statlander fans, but she lost. Yeah, she lost. And guess what? Mercedes Moné is beating her twice. So, is she going to get beat again? Now it's Jamie Hayter's turn to get her ass kicked. I don't think that Jamie Hayter is going to beat Mercedes Moné. I think Mercedes Moné is going to win the whole tournament. That's what I really think. I think she's going to win the tournament. I think that Jamie Hayter and her are going to have a great match. But I think that's where it ends. I don't think she beats Mercedes Moné. And I think, like I said, she wins the whole thing. And she not only is a 4-belt holder at that time, but a 5-belt holder. Now, of course, that's one of the things I love about the Owen Cup, because you get the belt and the trophy. And you can't defend the belt. You can't lose the belt. It's yours. Okay? But you do pretty much, it's to add to your collection. So she'll be a 5-belt holder plus the trophy. Like, damn it. And Mercedes Moné, she's going to want to celebrate it, right? But yeah, so I like what they, like Jamie Hayter and people seem to forget, man. It's like these guys beat each other. It's not like one person is just dominating the other. When someone's getting a heavy push, yeah, that's more than likely to happen. But Mercedes Moné, man, she's doing her thing. And she's doing way more things than she ever did. So, looking forward to that match, in the Owen Cup. You know what, man? Just looking at what's going on too with like when I saw Master P comes out, and he's from New Orleans, so he comes out, and the Ops come out. Now they're going back and forth with the Death Riders, and they had their little feud with them. And Swerve comes out, Kenny Omega comes out. Now, even though the Death Riders are saying they don't want anything to do with the Bucks, I think this is going to lead to blood and guts. And that's what I believe is going to be the Ops, Kenny Omega, and Swerve Strickland versus the Death Riders, and the Bucks. And more than likely, I don't know what type. I think Pac got injured, so it would more than likely be Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, Moxley, and the Young Bucks, versus the Ops, Swerve and Omega. I think that's what that's going to lead to eventually. So always love a blood and guts match, and with that many people, this will pretty much be the double ring, huge cage, the blood and guts. So hey, man, when that's going to take place, I don't know, but I believe that's what that's leading to eventually. And will this happen at All In? Hey, that would definitely be great, especially in an arena that size. And for people for the first time that's going to see, an AEW program, to see that match, that would be great. But I believe that's what that's going to lead to. And you know what, man? Like this guy, Kyle Fletcher, man, the way they're pushing him, you can see he's the star of the Don Callis family. And, him, Takeshita, come on, man. Like Josh Alexander, are you kidding me, man? Like, having Lance Archer there, and I don't know what Brian Cage's status is. I don't know what happened. But, hey, man, Kyle Fletcher is obviously getting a huge push to be, he's going to end up being like a top heel, and he already has some big wins over some very good people. So, when these things are going on, man, and we're looking at what's next, I don't like spoilers, so I don't read spoilers, and I don't try to so much. It's not like I'm not really so much trying to solve the puzzle. I'm just saying what's possibly going to happen, type of thing. I like to be surprised, man. And so if we have a good idea or a great idea, and they can come up with something just as good or better, that's even better. When something's not predictable. But either way, wrestling is always at a point where certain things you can see it happen before it happened, and then there's times where, But hey, you know what? It's solid, man. It's a solid thing. Then it's all about balance, when it comes to wins and losses. That's why, like, when you hear wrestlers talk about, I was just there to do a job. I don't care. If they want me to win, I win. If they want me to get pinned, I get pinned, Hey, it's not real anyway. Okay, true. But you notice those wrestlers are never the ones that are the very top guys. They always had potential, or you'll say, hey, man, I like that guy. I don't know what happened. Yeah, because they didn't care. And then when you have wrestlers say, I refuse to job for such and such, or I refuse to... See, people have their reasons. And if they didn't job for someone that you like more, then you feel like they're being selfish. But a lot of times, man, they take people that's not really that talented, and they try to put them in a position where, they're making certain guys look bad. And one thing for sure, even though wrestling's not a real sport, well, guess what happens? The wrestling fans a lot of times can become a bit stupid to the point where they feel like, why am I watching this? And even though it's not actually real, it's no different than a movie. If you're watching a movie and the character keeps getting his ass kicked, at some point, what's people's biggest complaint about the Incredible Hulk? That why is Marvel using him to be a funny guy? Why is he getting his ass kicked by Thanos like this? Why is he, not hulking out? Why are they not letting the Hulk be the Hulk, right? So things like that, man. It's the same thing. When it comes to wrestling, if you're losing, especially on TV, people get to see you the majority of the times on TV or pay-per-view, you're losing, they stop cheering for you, man. They don't even care about you anymore. Like, who cares? So if you're getting beat, but you're not, that's why I say people got to understand, when you lose a match, but then you win a match, it's like they only count when you lose. When you win, it's like they okay, you got the win, but they only want to talk about when you lose. Because they think certain people are supposed to win all the time. They think that. Then they complain. What are they calling Rhea Ripley right now? Rhea Hogan, right? Okay, this is exactly what I'm saying. They got pissed off. People, Orange Cassidy wins all the time. But it's like, you guys don't know what you want. John Cena was right when it comes to the wrestling audience. You don't know what the fuck you want. So the balance has to be there. Ricochet, he lost to Briscoe. But at the same time, look at his winning record, his winning streak. Look at his record. You can't, he lost. Yeah, he lost. So what? And they had a solid match. And bottom line is, what you're going to do? Just make Briscoe a freaking jobber, just coming in with his little froggy bow and just have him, get the crowd amped up just to keep losing. Like, no. There's a balance that goes on. Certain people are going to get more wins. Certain people are going to be pushed to be stronger. Yes, you have to have that. That's what separates them from the rest of the other guys. And then when they're ready to get their push, it's all about how you go about it. But people got to be more realistic and use common sense when, it comes to how we see things. But yeah, man, it was a it was another, solid show, and I like the fact that, I like their format, man, and how they do things, and the fact that, their product, I can see Tony Khan gets it. He understands, like, okay, how we started, we did what we did, and that the game constantly changes, and you have to change with it, but your changes have to be to where it benefits you and your company. You can't listen to the haters and try to change what you're doing based on them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just going to boo no matter what you do. So, they understand it's a different direction. And whoever else is involved in the creative process, I don't know who they all are and, like, who's doing what, but it's like they get it. They see this is what we need to do, and they go a different direction. So, hey, when things are exciting and things are popping off the right way, that's when that's when wrestling is really fun. But when it comes to, like, I can't look at one company and think just because one company is doing it in a way that I like, every company at the same time are all going to get it. And one of the biggest problems that wrestling is going to always have, contracts expiring, re-signing people, who's going to stay, who's going to go. Every company's going to go through it. Trust me. A couple of months ago, WWE released a lot of people. How many of them are going to end up in AEW? Don't know. WWE doesn't own TNA, but they own TNA. You know what I mean? So don't know who's going to end up going there. And however it goes in America, either you're gonna go through that there, you're gonna go to AEW, you're gonna go to TNA, WWE, or MLW, if you want to be seen. And the smaller your viewership, the less people will see you, obviously. And a lot of people, even though they're solid, if they're not as popular as the next guy, people don't think that it matters. So, like Josh Alexander, for example, if he walked out in a WWE arena and people start going, oh, wow, it's Josh Alexander, and yada, 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 right? Okay, fine. That's what WWE fans would have done. They're not going to do that because he comes to AEW. Someone made a comment the other day about Jade Cargill and said she needs to either A, get better, or B, go back to AEW. And I started laughing because the guy who said it, people in the comment section was like, why would you say something so stupid, man? Go back to AEW, okay, fine, if that's what she want and that's what AEW want, but, like, who the fuck are you to dictate where somebody goes? And I started to laugh because I'm like, yeah, finally people are starting to fucking wake up and get it. This is exactly what I'm saying. Telling people they need to go back to AEW or go back, like, because in his mind, what he's trying to say is AEW sucks, go back to AEW, right? Why do you continue to watch AEW? The very guy, it's like I said, it's one thing to voice your opinion on things because you want to see a change for the better. But it's another thing to come out your face and say, I hate this company sucks. Because all you do is show everybody what type of loser you are. Because for you to actually hate, okay, I hate this company. Wouldn't it be easier to just not watch? You understand what I'm saying? So we can watch something and we can love it, we can like it, and then it gets to the point it can get stale. I'm not one of these people, I'm just ready to throw you in the garbage because you do some things I don't like. Like, it's not the same. No. Certain things, like, look at, for example, like when I talk about TNA. Man, TNA just doesn't have the same feel. No, I don't hate TNA. I don't want to see TNA go out of business. No. Why would I? I'm just not interested in what they're doing. And I'll tune in and watch, and it's like, the show is just weak. And people don't understand, you can't play when not. Look, even though a checker and a chessboard look identical at times, the game's played completely different. So if you're trying to play checkers on a chessboard, you're going to lose every time. And this is where, when you hear me talking about TNA, this is what I'm talking about. They don't get it. They really don't get it. And, their product is not what it should be. Their product is not, it's very stale. And without any involvement, any talk about WWE or NXT or whatever, like, who really cares about what TNA is doing? And my point with that is how people always want to bring up, it's funny how they keep making it their business. Like, why do people that hate AEW so much go out their way to keep talking about their ratings being under 1 million views? But they don't want to talk about how the WWE viewership has dropped tremendously. They don't want to talk about the fact that NXT can't get 1 million views either. They don't want to talk about any of that shit. They don't want to talk about how dead WrestleMania season was, how dead WrestleMania was Saturday and Sunday night. They don't want to talk about that. And they keep going out their way. Why are they not doing the viewership on WWE? Why are they not doing the viewership on TNA? Why are they not doing the viewership on MLW? Or any other organization? It's because they hate. They don't want to see AEW doing well. It would make them feel great to hear AEW is now out of business. Why are people so full of stupidity and hate? It's beyond me. But who cares? You know, I'm enjoying what AEW is doing. There's no one point you wait for till we have to get to this point, then we can start to enjoy it. No, I'm enjoying everything that's going on right now in AEW. And like I said, if we are supportive of a genre, then we voice our opinions because we want to see change. Once you start talking about hate, I don't even want to hear you. I don't want to talk to you. Because the reality of that is, that's what you are, a hateful person. And that's not who or what I am. So I will speak against things and I will speak up for things. You know, it's subjective of what people like. But like I said, grown adults like grown adult things. So when you find yourself intrigued by childish, kitty, petty nonsense, that doesn't say a lot about you in a good way. Now, keep that in mind every time you open your mouth to talk about a company that you label as, I hate it, I can't stand it. Yet you take 2 hours out of your time to sit and watch it just so you can talk about how much you hate it. Wow. So anyways, that's what it is. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night to see what happens on Collision. Now, I'm going to catch SmackDown tonight and see what goes on. And my thing is, I don't get enough time to do reviews and shit the night that I watch something most of the time, because right after I'm doing something, or I'm you know. So either way, I'll get back to it one way or another. But yeah, looking forward to see what's going on in AEW. I'm looking forward to see how Josh Alexander develops there and storylines that he's involved in, and you know, it's just a lot. And then seeing, you know, Stokely come out, and now he's the representative of FTR. They're playing the heel role again, and pretty much they know how to get under the crowd's skin. You know, I think, you know, like seeing what's going on and looking at who the tag teams are now, I don't know who to match them up with. I mean, well, you got, of course, you got to look at who the faces are, and that's who you imagine them. You know, you expect them to, you know, get into feuds with. First would be, you know, heels, but everybody want the tag titles, man. So at some point we get an FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate. Hey, well, you know, hey man, I'm for it. I didn't hear anything about the Acclaim not being on the roster of AEW anymore. Just different people we haven't seen. You know, you kind of forget about them in a way. And, you know, if you watch the old stuff, you'll, okay, what happened to that guy? What happened to this person? But we'll see. Anyway, another solid show. And I will be watching Collision tomorrow night. Like I said, I'll be checking out SmackDown tonight to see what goes on. And my thing with me is, anytime I watch anything, of course, I'm hoping it's a good show. I'm not tuning in saying, okay, I know it's going to be a shit show, but let me watch it anyway. It's like, hey, man, let's see. Just give it a benefit of the doubt. Let's see. And, you know, what happens, happens. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys right now. I will catch you in the next video.